Left Forgotten is an animated YouTube series created by me, which serves as an alternate universe slash continuation slash reboot of the video games Five Nights at Freddy's and Bendy and the Ink Machine, created by me, Danimation, using the characters of Five Nights at Freddy's, owned and created by Scott Cawthon, and Bendy and the Ink Machine, created by the Meatly and Mike Mood and owned by Kindly Beast. I made the series because I still knew how much potential both FNAF and Bendy still had to be generally scary. Then I thought they have even more potential if they were brought together and put into the real world. Well, now it's happened. So hi, I'm Danimation, and today I'm going to be showing 25 facts about Left Forgotten. Number 1. Despite everyone knowing that Top 10 Gaming is a content farm, after seeing their video on FNAF and Bendy being in the same universe, that honestly gave me the idea, what if they were? So, I just came up with the idea. Number 2. The overall tone of the show was very much based on Gotham, a crime drama set in Gotham City before Batman happened, meaning that I decided to make Left Forgotten more of a crime drama than a supernatural horror like most people would expect from a show like this. Number 3. The first 3 episodes of Left Forgotten were all written out in 5 days, compared to the 3 years it took to get everything to animate it. Now, that's not to say that some script rewrites didn't happen, because they did. In fact, all of Left Forgotten Season 1 was written before the show even started animation. Number 4. Elizabeth Afton and Sammy Lawrence were both originally going to be in the first episode, but after some script rewrites decided to cut them out and save them for later episodes, as I felt having them in there would make the story too bloated for the first episode. Number 5. Elizabeth was going to be much different than she is in the games. In her episode 1 appearance, she was originally going to be 15, alone in the house while Afton was still at the pizzeria. I decided to change this, cut her out of the first season, and age her back down to 6 years old, just so, it wasn't too far from the official lore of the games. But I still think that the idea of Elizabeth dying at 15 is still kinda cool. Number 6. Sammy's appearance in episode 1 was much more minor than Elizabeth's in the original script, showing him just walking down an alleyway, and showing that he might have committed the murder that the Ink Demon ultimately committed in the episode anyway. I decided to cut him out because I thought Sammy's too important of a character just to have a cameo, and decided to save him for episode 3. Number 7. Left Forgotten is written in a way that reintroduces both characters, which means these characters do still have some differences from the games, because, this is an alternate universe, but this is also so fans of only one game, or neither of the games, can still enjoy the story, so that even if you haven't played or watched either of these games, you can still enjoy the series. Number 8. I wanted to make the series as realistic and grounded as possible, so any violence, language, and emotional situations the characters would go through realistically will appear in the series. However, there will not be any mature situations just for the sake of it, only if it impacts the story. Number 9. Because of the realistic tone, I wanted to make some of the characters feel a little more real. For example, Boris wearing shirts and jackets, and the Ink Demon wearing a cloak to disguise itself. Number 10. I didn't exactly want Michael Afton to be the main protagonist of the series, because I felt like you kinda have to be a FNAF fan to understand that, and I wanted the perspective of an outsider looking into this supernatural world. So I introduced as the detectives Mike and Jerry. Mike and Jerry are both named after the 2 security guards in Five Nights 1 and 2. Mike is named after Mike Schmidt in FNAF 1, and Jerry is named after Jerry Fitzgerald, or Jeremy Fitzgerald, I should say, in FNAF 2. And no, Mike is not Michael Afton. Number 11. Not once during the series' creation was the Ink Demon ever thought of as a villain. The Ink Demon was always going to be more of a neutral force, sort of like a wild animal who just attacks on instinct, instead of a creature who actually seeks out to hurt people. Number 12. William Afton was the first human character ever designed. I wanted to create my own design for the character, because, to be honest with you, I wasn't a big fan of how he appeared in the graphic novels, so I decided to change his look to match what I saw in the minigames to just what I really thought he looked like. And combining with another fact about, the Ink Demon, William Afton is the main villain of the series, not the Ink Demon. Number 13. The entire series takes place in New York City, based on in the Bendy and the Ink Machine novel, Dreams Come to Life, Joey Drew Studios is in New York City. So I decided to say, hey, what if there was a Freddy's in New York? And then the rest of the series was born. Number 14. References to Left Forgotten appear all throughout the Danimation horror fanverse. The earliest example of this is in Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Sweet Dreams Burn, where Freddy's first victim's room has a little doll of the marionette. Number 15. There's another Freddy Fazbear's Easter egg in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. In Krueger the First Nightmares, human Freddy reads through a newspaper job description of Freddy Fazbear's. Number 16. Freddy Fazbear makes a small cameo in It Chapter 2. Pennywise transforms into Freddy to mess with Richie. If you want to know why, then watch the movie. Number 17. The original Bendy cartoons that I posted on this channel years ago are actually canon to Left Forgotten, but as little cartoon movies, meaning that these would have been the cartoons that were actually on TV in the Left Forgotten universe. Other TV shows that would be on at the time would be Creep Show, Cuphead, and Showdown Bandit. Number 18. So far, Tom is the only character who's gone through a full character redesign for the series. However, this design has only ever been seen in completed concept art, as Tom has not appeared in the series yet. Number 19. You won't have to wait too long though, as Tom is going to appear in episode 4 along with his redesign. Number 20. With the obvious exception of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, more animatronics are actually in the pizzeria than you see. The first evidence of this is in episode 1, where Afton has a list of all the animatronics that are in the pizzeria. The other ones include the Puppet, Fetch, Plush Trap, Fredbear, and Spring Bonnie. All of these characters appear later in Season 1. Number 21. Similar to Fetch, there is another surprise waiting in Season 1. Yep, Grim Foxy is a Season 1 character. Number 22. The reason for Tom's redesign was actually a pretty simple one. It was due to the lack of availability of official Bendy and the Ink Machine merch here in the UK, now that the Fat Mojo lawsuit has happened. I decided to use the Boris figure as the base and just redesign Tom, just so, I could get the episodes out faster. Number 23. Despite being one of the series' main antagonists, I don't actually consider Alice Angel to be evil. At least, not in the Left Forgotten universe. Number 24. In episode 1 of Left Forgotten, 2 kids are watching Freddy's performance. One of them is wearing a pretty obvious Batman reference, so one of them is wearing a Batman shirt, and the other one is a lesser obvious Hulk reference with blue shorts and a green shirt. Number 25. Although they each had cameos in episode 2, the Projectionist and the Butcher Gang are all being saved for series 2.